You're 12 years old, standing in a quiet kitchen, the air heavy with the scent of hospital antiseptic still clinging to your clothes. Your mom is gone, and suddenly, you're not just a kid anymore. You're cooking dinner, tucking your little brothers into bed, and checking their homework. While other teens are sneaking out to parties, you're playing mom, your childhood slipping through your fingers like sand. But years later, the people who dismissed you, who mocked your sacrifice, are begging for your help, and you hold all the cards. If you've ever felt cheated out of something precious, stick around. This story of sweet, hard-earned justice will hit you right in the heart. Hey everyone, I'm Sophia, 30 years old, living in Portland, Oregon, where I run my own bakery and catering business. Today, I'm sharing a deeply personal story, my real-life journey from losing my childhood to becoming the woman who turned the tables on those who underestimated me. This is about resilience, justice, and reclaiming what's yours. If you've ever wanted to prove the doubters wrong, smash that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into this roller coaster of a story. Here we go. Let's rewind to 2007. I was 12, living in a small, rainy town outside Portland. Our house was modest. A cozy two-bedroom with creaky wooden floors, a tiny kitchen that always smelled faintly of mom's lavender tea, and a backyard where my younger brothers, Ethan and Lucas, loved to chase fireflies. Ethan was 9, all freckles and endless questions. Lucas was 6, shy with a mop of curly hair. Mom was the glue of our family, a nurse with a laugh that could light up a room, but she'd been battling breast cancer since I was 8. Dad? He tried, working long hours as a delivery driver, but he was barely home, and when he was, grief made him distant, like a ghost in his own life. When Mom passed, it was like the world went silent. I remember standing in her hospital room, the beep of machines replaced by a void that pressed against my ears. Her hand was cold in mine, her face peaceful but so still it didn't look like her anymore. My chest ached, a hollow pain that spread to my fingertips. I wanted to scream, but I just stood there, tears dripping onto the linoleum floor. Ethan and Lucas clung to me, their sobs muffled against my sweater. I was a kid, but in that moment, I felt like the only adult left. Life changed overnight. Dad buried himself in work, leaving me to pick up the pieces. I became the mom to my brothers. Mornings were a blur. Dragging myself out of bed at 6 a.m., the cold tile floor biting my bare feet, to make oatmeal and pack lunches. I'd braid Lucas's curls, help Ethan with math homework, and rush to school, my own backpack heavy with textbooks I barely had time to read. After school, I'd cook dinner, burned spaghetti at first, the acrid smell filling the kitchen, but I got better. Nights were laundry, cleaning, and tucking my brothers in, their small voices asking, "When's Mom coming back?" My throat would tighten, a lump so big I could barely swallow, and I'd lie, "She's watching over us, okay?" Inside, I was screaming, "I'm just a kid. Why me?" The injustice came from my aunt, Linda, Mom's older sister. She lived nearby, a loud, brassy woman with a sharp tongue and a knack for making you feel small. Linda owned a local diner, a greasy spoon with checkered floors and neon signs, always packed with regulars. She was the type who'd flash a fake smile for customers but snap at her staff. After Mom died, I thought she'd step up, be the family we needed. Instead, she treated me like a burden, a kid who didn't know her place. "You're not cut out for this, Sophia," she'd say, her voice dripping with condescension, standing in our kitchen with her arms crossed, her floral perfume overwhelming. "You're too young, too soft. Those boys need a real mother, not a wannabe." Her words stung, like salt in an open wound. I'd clench my fists, nails digging into my palms, feeling my face flush hot. "I'm trying," I wanted to yell. "I'm doing everything." But I swallowed it, nodding, because arguing felt pointless. Linda would drop by unannounced, criticizing my cooking. "This chicken's dry as cardboard," or my housekeeping. This place is a pigsty. Once, she caught me crying over a pile of dishes, the sink overflowing, my hands raw from scrubbing. Stop sniveling, she snapped, her eyes cold. Life's tough. Get over it. My heart pounded, a mix of rage and shame, but I just wiped my tears and kept scrubbing, the sponge squeaking against the plates. School was no escape. My friends were living their teen years, sleepovers, first crushes, sneaking out to movies. I was changing Lucas's bedsheets after nightmares, helping Ethan with algebra, and dodging Linda's barbs. Classmates noticed I was different now, distracted, always tired. "What's wrong with you?" one girl asked, her tone more curious than kind, as I zoned out in history class, my eyes burning from lack of sleep. I'd shrug, my stomach twisting, feeling like an outsider in my own life. Social media was worse. Photos of parties I wasn't invited to, laughter I couldn't share. My hands would hover over the keyboard, wanting to type, "I'm drowning," but I never did. Instead, I'd scroll, the blue light stinging my eyes, feeling the weight of a life stolen. The tension escalated as I hit 16. Linda's visits grew nastier. She'd compare me to Mom. "Your mother was a saint, keeping everything together. You're barely managing." Her words were knives, each one carving deeper into my confidence. One day, she showed up while I was making dinner, mac and cheese, the kitchen warm with steam, the radio playing softly. Ethan and Lucas were laughing at the table, a rare moment of lightness. Linda stormed in, slamming her purse down, the leather smacking the counter. "This is what you call parenting? They're running wild," she barked. I froze, the wooden spoon trembling in my hand, cheese sauce dripping onto the stove with a faint sizzle. "I'm doing my best," I said, voice shaking. She laughed, a sharp, cruel sound. "Your best? You're failing, Sophia. Those boys deserve better." That night, alone in my room, the house quiet except for the hum of the fridge, I broke. My chest heaved, sobs muffled into my pillow, the fabric damp against my face. "I can't do this anymore," I whispered to myself, my voice raw. But then, a shift, a spark of defiance. "She's wrong," I thought, my jaw tightening. "I'm not failing. I'm keeping us alive." That was the turning point. I was done being Linda's punching bag, done letting her steal what little I had left. I'd prove her wrong, not just for me, but for Ethan and Lucas. I started planning. School was my ticket out. I poured myself into studies, staying up late with textbooks, the glow of my desk lamp burning my eyes. Coffee became my lifeline, the bitter taste grounding me. I earned straight A's, scholarships piling up. I took online courses in business, learning about entrepreneurship, my fingers flying over the keyboard as I dreamed of freedom. I got a part-time job at a bakery, the smell of fresh bread and sugar a small comfort. I'd knead dough, my arms aching but my mind focused. One day, I'll have my own place. My own life. By 18, I was accepted to a university in Portland with a full ride. Leaving Ethan and Lucas was the hardest part. They were 15 and 12 now, more independent but still my boys. Dad stepped up more, guilt making him try harder. I moved out, promising to visit every weekend, my heart aching as I hugged them goodbye, their small frames pressed against me. College was a whirlwind. Late nights studying, interning at marketing firms, and baking on the side to pay for extras. I graduated at 22, landing a job at a catering company. By 25, I was managing events, my confidence growing with every client I wowed. At 27, I took the leap. I opened Sophia's Sweets, a bakery and catering business. The smell of vanilla and cinnamon filled my shop, the jingle of the door chime a daily victory. My business thrived, weddings, corporate events, local fame. I was building something, proving Linda wrong with every order. Meanwhile, Linda's diner was sinking. Social media posts from old friends showed her struggling, bad reviews, empty tables, staff quitting. She'd overextended, taking loans for a renovation that flopped. Her sharp tongue alienated customers. Her charm no longer worked. Ethan, now in college, told me she'd been asking about me, fishing for help. She's desperate, he said, shaking his head. I felt a flicker of satisfaction, my pulse quickening. The stage was set. Last year, at 29, I got a call from Linda. My phone buzzed on my desk, the screen lighting up with her name. My stomach flipped, memories of her cruelty flashing like a bad movie. I answered, keeping my voice cool. Sophia, it's Linda, she started, her tone softer than I'd ever heard, almost pleading. I need your help. The diner's in trouble. You're doing so well with your business. Maybe you could give me some advice? My lips curled into a small smile, my fingers tapping the desk, the wood smooth under my nails. Here it is. I agreed to meet at her diner. Walking in, the place felt like a ghost town. Faded checkered floors, flickering neon signs, the air stale with grease. Linda sat at a booth, her face lined, hair graying, no trace of her old swagger. Sophia, you look incredible, she said, eyes darting nervously. I sat across from her, my posture straight, the clink of my coffee cup loud in the silence. Thanks, I said, letting the word hang. So, what's the problem? She spilled it all. Debts piling up, customers gone, her reputation shot. I don't know what to do, she admitted, voice cracking, hands wringing a napkin into shreds. I leaned forward, my heart steady but adrenaline surging. Before we talk business, I said, my voice low, deliberate, we need to talk about the past. Her eyes widened, lips parting. You made me feel worthless, I continued, my words sharp but calm. I was 12, grieving my mom, raising my brothers, and you tore me down. Called me a failure, laughed at my pain. My voice trembled slightly, but I held her gaze, feeling the weight of years lift with every word. Linda's face crumpled. I was wrong, she stammered, tears welling. I was grieving too, but that's no excuse. I'm so sorry, Sophia. Her hands shook, the napkin tearing apart. I paused, letting her words sink in, savoring the shift in power. My chest felt lighter, like I could finally breathe. I appreciate the apology, I said, my tone firm but not cruel. But actions have consequences. I outlined my terms. I'd consult on her diner, marketing, rebranding, the works, but she'd sell me a 51% stake for $1. I'd own her legacy, and she'd volunteer at a grief support group, making amends for the pain she caused. Her jaw dropped, eyes darting in panic. You want my diner? She whispered, voice hoarse. It's all I have. I leaned back, crossing my arms, the booth creaking. You had my childhood, I said simply. This is fair. She nodded, defeated, signing the papers days later. As I walked out, keys to the diner in hand, I felt a rush, triumph, validation, relief. I didn't gloat, but inside, I was soaring. My brothers hugged me that night, Ethan whispering, you did it, Soph. I smiled, tears pricking my eyes, the weight of a stolen childhood finally lifting. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about reclaiming my worth. Linda took my childhood, but I took back my power. Those years of pain taught me resilience, love for my brothers, and how to build something from nothing. If you're carrying a burden someone else put on you, know this: you can rise above it. Your strength is your justice. What's your story? How did you overcome the unfairness in your life? Wow, that was a journey, wasn't it? If this story gave you chills or lit a fire in you, hit that like button. Let's get to 15,000 likes. Drop a comment. What's the most satisfying comeback you've ever seen or lived through? I read every single one. If you love stories of underdogs winning and justice served, subscribe and ring that bell for more. Thanks for joining me today. Keep fighting for your own victories. See you in the next one.